Hi, folks. How are you? Today, I'm with Lady Iquo DianaAbasi, an accomplished writer, poet, and actress. But I will not be that presumptuous to assume that will be all. Before this interview kicks off, I will let Iquo herself say something about herself. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Hi, everybody. Yes, my name is Iquo DianaAbasi. I am a writer, I'm a performance poet. I also do editing. So, yes, I'm an editor and many other things creative. But I think that should suffice for now.
Thank you very much, Iquo. And viewers, Diana means be close to the Almighty. It's a very helpful admonition. And with that, I go to my first question. It is that your writings are so very relatable. One can relate to it when you read it. And that makes me to ask you whether you actually use your own experiences when you write, when you pen those wonderful words of yours.
Thank you. That's a very interesting question. Well, it's actually impossible for a writer not to put a bit of their personal experience in their writing, but that can be all that is in the writing. Some of the things I write about are things I have seen people go through. Sometimes I write stories based on imagination. Maybe I've seen something happen and then I wonder, what if? So what if we had a different twist to that story? How would it play out? Sometimes it's just something I have in my mind and I begin to write it down and the story takes on a life of itself. So it's not always my personal experience.
Thank you very much. And that leads me to my second question. That I've read some of the writings and they explore very serious issues like love. And I want to now ask whether you actually have a special message, particularly for women.
It's interesting that you said very serious issues like love. I was waiting for you to mention things like democracy, activism, because those are things that we can consider serious things. And I write about those things as well. But I think that maybe in my collection of short stories, Eforia and other stories, a lot of the stories explore experiences that women, I think, in this part of Africa go through. So there's a lot of stories that look at how women have been subjugated, that look at how women experience abuse, or even just stories that look at the mindset that some girls have about what it takes to be fulfilled or successful. And also things that explore the ideology behind marriage, and if that's the beginning and end of a woman's purpose on earth. Yes. So I explore stories that deal with these things from different angles, and also look at childhood. So yes, women in particular, there are many messages to give to women in particular, but I think for me the strongest that comes to mind is just to say, believe in yourself. You are first and foremost a human being, and you must experience life as a human being, as a child of the Almighty Creator, before you can begin to be worthy to be a wife, to be a mother, and to succeed at those callings. So first see yourself as a human being, and because when you see yourself as a human being, maybe you begin to ask yourself, why am I here? What am I doing here? What can I do to make my life better? How can I add to other people's lives? How can I be a better human? Because we are all here, we're going to exist with other people, so you have to, live life with other people.
Right.
Yeah, and if you see yourself as a part of creation, then maybe you think of how to be upright, how not to harm the next person, so that harm doesn't come to you as well. And then you see yourself as worthy Because if you can wake up every morning and then by not doing anything of your own, you have life, you have air to breathe, even if you have to struggle financially. Something to tell you that you are special, you are blessed. And if you are thus blessed, then maybe you shouldn't allow somebody else to harm you. You shouldn't allow situations of life to put you so down that you think you don't deserve any better.
So you're sort of a gratitude here.
There's gratitude. There's also the sense of, I just believe that if we know that we are special, no matter the circumstances that surround us, everybody deserves a chance. Everybody deserves joy. If you know that, you would seek joy, and you would also try not to take it from another person. And you will also know that nobody has the right to take it from you.
Thank you very much. May I ask a pointed question? How many books have been published now through your efforts?
Through my efforts. That's a very big question. If I were to answer that, I would also count the books that I have edited. But no, so how many books? Let me not answer that. How many books have been published in my name?
You also as the author.
With me as the author.
That's what I meant.
Yes. 3 books so far. 2 of them are poetry collections, and 1 is a collection of short stories. 1 is Symphony of Becoming, that's the first. Then there's Coming Undone, as Stitches title. That's also a poetry collection. And then I have the short story collection,
Foriru.
And other stories.
That's a combo of stories.
Yes.
And it's a Foriru indeed.
Yes.
Honestly, I consider you as an accomplished author. And for that reason, then you are compelled to answer my next question, which is, what are the challenges that you have faced on your road to success, and how did you tackle them to overcome? Third one, based on the first 2, how would you advise upcoming writers, of which I'm chief, because I'm also now writing? Please go ahead.
So first, I don't know if I'm an accomplished writer. Please don't believe him. Don't believe him. I am a writer, yes. I do not know that I can say I am accomplished. There's still so many things I want to write, so many ideas, so many stories. I do not know that it's possible to even be accomplished. I don't know. So let's leave that. But yes, the challenges I have faced as a writer. First is that as a Nigerian young person, your parents want to hear that you're a writer. What is writing? You want to starve. You don't want to be able to feed your parents in old age. But I kept writing. Because for me, writing was like something that I just needed to do. When I'm not writing, I feel burdened. I feel like there's something I'm supposed to do that I've not done, and therefore I am failing. So I have to write. Then after writing, I then begin to feel like maybe what I've written is not good enough. Maybe it's not saying the thing I wanted to say the way I wanted to say it. Is it conveying a message? Eventually, I found spaces where I could share my writing. And a lot of people know me as a poet more than as a storyteller, because I used to share my poems on different platforms, in public places, and on social media, once in a while in a newspaper or a magazine. But I find that once I share my writing and people read it and can connect with it, then I feel like, okay, I have done something worthwhile. That feeling, because of that feeling, I cannot stop, because it then means that if I do not write and then share, maybe somebody that ought to benefit from reading that piece would lose, and it's all because I have failed as a person. So yes, beyond that, there's also the challenge of, if you want to get your writing out there, you need platforms. So yeah, social media is great. Right now, it's also possible to self-publish on different platforms.
Correct.
But it's also possible that when you self-publish, you are not able to clean up the work. And this is not to say that creative work should be whitewashed or overly polished. But just to say that because you're the writer of the work, sometimes you are not able to see where there are blemishes. You're not able to see the points where it could be sounding ambiguous, and then your reader is not getting a good grasp of the message. And if your message isn't passing through, then you've really not done the work. So that's to say, I just feel like it's best to publish, to go through certain steps. For instance, editing. For instance, having a group of maybe people who can give you feedback that will be constructive. People who will not be yes men and yes women and say, this is fantastic, this is great, and that's all they say. No. People who can be objective, who can tell you, I see what you're trying to do here, but I got lost at this point. Can you make this clearer? What does this imagery mean? The words sound fanciful, but what do they really mean? Things like that. So I'm just pointing this out because that's a challenge that I eventually overcame by speaking to a publisher who had, as part of their process, editing. So, and then even after editing, you're not thinking of publishing. But what really is publishing? Many people in Nigeria think publishing is just printing your work, and then it's not. It's more than that.
Yes.
There's beyond the editing, there's the laying out, then there's the design of the cover, then there's publicity, there's marketing, and I don't think any writer should do all of that by themselves, because even if you're a creative person, you can have a huge input in it, you can have the ideas and share them, but you don't have to do all of that work by yourself. It's that thing about burning the candle at both ends. It will wear you out, and then you might still not be able to get as much reach.
Just focus on your work, on your creative work.
Yes. And anything that is creative, have a hand in it, but you don't have to do the whole process. So yes, that's another challenge, because publishing in Nigeria is not it's not a business that is first not as lucrative, and then it's not easy to do. So even after publishing, there's a distribution, and not many publishers are able to get that right. And even when they get distribution right, sometimes you have books in bookshops, and then the booksellers are not returning the money. So there are many stories where as a writer, you trust me, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do all of that by yourself. So it's good to get a publisher. But if you're writing poetry, many publishers do not want to do poetry because it's not very lucrative. But
Really?
And this is not only Nigeria, it's across the world. Yes. So poetry is like the forgotten stepchild, in the family when it comes to all of literature, right? But that didn't stop me. I saw that those were challenges, and I just decided, okay, we'll do this. Anyhow it takes, we'll do this.
Determination.
Yes, determination, and I kept going for it. I kept doing it. I kept, like I said, looking for platforms. It's also important that you find places that you have people who have similar mindsets, similar talents. So everybody is pushing everybody up. Everybody is supporting everybody, reading each other's work, improving each other's work, publicizing each other's work, sharing your work, sharing places where you can publish things, whether they're online journals, online magazines, competitions, things like that. And then getting in touch with people who are actually doing the work of publishing and doing that work as well. So that's how I overcame that. My advice for people who want to write upcoming, please write as much as
By all means, write.
Yes, by all means, write. And even if you're doubting your writing, keep doing it, because even if it's not good enough now, writing is like it's like a muscle. The more you exercise it, the tougher it gets, the stronger it gets. So keep doing it, and look for outlets for your work. Share your work, because I think that what you write now will not be what you write in the next 2 years or 3 years. But if you do not put it down, how will you then even get to polish it? How will your thinking keep evolving and growing? And yeah, so write, share with people, find groups of people who want to do the same thing, and find people that know more than you, so that you can also grow through them. Engage in all kinds of training that you can find, workshops, for instance, do those things. There'll be things you will learn. There'll be things that you don't like, that you don't think will work for you, which is fine. But if you do not even expose yourself, how will you find those things? So expose yourself, share your work, publish as much as you can, talk to people.
Well, thanks a lot for this because I've actually gained a lot from this nuggets of advice for upcoming writers. Go out there, share more, learn more, attend workshops and all that. So, I want to thank you for that. And I think my viewers too are aspiring writers. Have gained a lot from this word of advice and from your experience on the challenges you faced and how you overcame them. So now it's time to let our viewers know your latest work for you. That's the one I know is the latest work. Am I correct?
No.
Okay, well, please tell us your latest work and for you. I won't take that as wrong, totally wrong. So, not say by Forero and your latest work, and you'll be free to actually make a quotable quote from any of the works, which you want to share with my audience.
Quotable quotes. That's so daunting. So Forero is my collection of short stories. It's the only collection of short stories that I have right now. I am working on another story, this time long form, but I'm not going to talk about that until it's ready. So the latest published work is poetry. It's titled Coming Undone as Stitches Tighten. Yes. It's a collection of poems, most of which explore, like half of the poems in that collection talk about the situation of things in Nigeria. And that collection came out shortly after my poetry album, Beyond the Staccato, which I like to see as a love song to my country, Nigeria. A lot of the poems in that album actually talk about things in Nigeria, from herders crisis to Boko Haram to NSAS to many different things. So yes, it's when I wrote the collection Coming Undone, there was a lot on my mind. I was basically just thinking about the dissatisfaction that a lot of people feel with the situation in Nigeria, and I penned most of those poems. There are a few poems there that talk about other aspects of life, and a few that talk about love, whether it's love of a mother to a child, love of a person for country, and the very little about romantic love, but yes, that's there too. So most of the poems talk about, most of the verses talk about the problems in Nigeria and one's yearning for things to be better. That collection was also, it was nominated for the NLM Nigeria Prize for Literature 2022.
Congrats. I'm really proud of you. I wish you more successes as you go along. As we come to close of the interview, I will ask you to give our viewers a word of advice, or what I would call it, take away words from the books.
Take away words. The thing that's coming to my mind is the original, yourself, because the best version of you that you can put out there is only the original version of you.
Yeah, be authentic.
Yes, be authentic. And I say this because sometimes people, especially writers, in the pursuits of accomplishment, you want to sound a certain way, you want to tell a certain kind of story because maybe you believe or you've come to learn that that's what's most acceptable. Because what is a vocation if you cannot make money from it, right? And how do you make money if it's not by publishing and getting public recognition? But I think that for me as a writer, I'm most fulfilled when I say what I really feel deep inside. When I'm true to the message I'm trying to deliver with my writing. So yes, be true to the story you're telling, be true to the writing that comes to you. I believe that as a writer, I am only a conduit. So I'm like a pipe for sending out message, and I need to be true to that message. For me, being true to my message has been, in the last 20 years, it has also involved doing things like prefacing my work with video folklore. Because I am a video, I just found that I love the idea of giving one folklore, one anecdote in my language as a sub before I now tell the poem or even a story. It might seem strange, yes, but it is who I am.
Wow.
And so this is the artist that I am, and so I incorporate it in my work, and I'm happy to do it. It doesn't matter that people may not really understand what I am saying. I think it suffices that when I share a folk song, for instance, and I engage other people, like people in the audience, to sing along with me, it is enough that I am able to teach that folk song. I'm able to say what the message in that song is, and then somebody can take it home with them, and then it just may come in handy. In fact, if all I have done is to remind somebody that, you know what, I should go home and speak my native tongue to my child, or speak it more often so that it is not lost, then I would have done a good job. So be original, be true to yourself. If in writing what it is you want to write, maybe there are messages that the language of communication, English in this instance, is not enough, and you feel like there are points where you need to add a little bit of the language or a word in the language to capture what the essence of what you're saying, by all means go ahead and do it. I say this because if you've read Efoiro, you know that I have a story in there that's written all in Pidgin, and I know some people argue that Pidgin is not a language. That's an argument for another day. I also have stories in that book that I have sayings, proverbs, in my language, because there's no other way to express this thing. Like, the English doesn't quite give it the depth that it carries. So sometimes you want to say it as it is, and then find a way to illustrate. This is me being original. For somebody else, being original might mean something else. But by all means, be true to what it is you're writing. Be true to what it is you're saying. Yeah. So that this is how you carry on the gift. You pass it on. The original, the truth. So don't stop. Don't stop. Keep writing, and keep being true to what it is you're writing.
Iquo, thanks a million for this answer with so much depth. And that I can't resist now asking an extra now to say please, an extra, and that's the last one. To say please, address the women, address womanhood. What should be their role? What should be their what should they see their calling as being a woman in this world, in Nigeria, and anywhere on the globe where a woman finds herself? Because there's a lot of hype about gender issues. We don't have to go to those areas. But please, from your own convictions, what do you want to say, just in one sentence, or just in 1 minute, to woman? That's correct.
This is a lot. This is a lot. It's a lot you have put on my shoulders, because there are many angles to come from. But really, who really is a woman? What really is a woman? This morning I was thinking about it, and thinking about how it is that there are many feminisms in the world. If as a scholar you would many feminisms. In Africa here there are many. Across the world there are many. But I think this fight started, it's a fight to, it's like a fight to regain self, a fight to break away from suppression, right? So while I do not, I think that this fight is important, it is valid, but I think that we need to start it in our homes, right from when, and I have to start from Nigeria, when a child is born, in many homes, it is seen like the male child is the more important child. So many girls grow up thinking they're not as important as a boy child. Many girls grow up thinking when you reach a certain age, you need to look for a husband to marry, otherwise you lose your worth. Many girls are conditioned to believe When you reach a certain age and you're not married, then there's something wrong with you. You're not doing right. You're not achieving your full potential as a woman. Many girls are also conditioned to believe that after they marry, they cannot give birth. There's also something wrong with them. And we're also still socialized to believe if you give birth and you only give birth to girls, there's also something wrong with you. I have a poem in my collection coming undone, that societal girl conditioning. It says all of these things. But enough with all of that. A woman is more than a wife. A woman is more than a mother. And these vocations are wonderful. I am a mother. It is one of the greatest callings I've ever had. It's a great responsibility and a blessing. But I am more than that, because after you have given birth, and it is not easy to carry a child, to give birth and to nurse a child. It is not easy to watch the child grow. The child will still leave you, because the child is a guest in your home, and they have their own lives to live. After this child has lived their life as a child in your home and they now move out, do you cease to exist? You are still a woman. So for that reason, that means that you are more than that thing. Even though that thing was great, motherhood is great. You are more than that. It is sacred, but you are more than that, woman. So even if so, I'm just saying this to say the pursuit of husband, the pursuit of child, the pursuit of even fame, even wealth, you are more than all of those things. Be open to all of them. Anyone that comes your way, accept it. Live your life. But you must remember, before you were somebody's wife, you were a human being. And I think I said this earlier on. So, and every human being has a responsibility on this earth to be, to develop, to add value to themselves, to the community around them. Especially for women, we all have the responsibility to ennoble our surroundings. It's a big responsibility, because it could mean different things. It could mean whatever job you are doing, you are doing it with a grace that only you can carry, because you are a woman. It could mean that if you are leading a people, you are leading them with a grace and a love and a kindness and compassion that only you can do, because you are a woman. And this thing it is a duty that falls to you. It is a grace that falls to you, not because your father was some person, or you have a husband that is some person, or you have a child. No, it is a duty that falls to you just because you are a woman. You are blessed with this capacity to ennoble your surroundings, ennoble everything that you do, because the Almighty God created you with it. So girl, child, woman, you are blessed, and you have the capacity to go into creation gracefully and ennoble everything that you do, everything that you touch. It doesn't have to be something great. You can do this as a teacher. You can do this as somebody who fries akara on the street. You can do this as somebody that all that you do is you are a caregiver in a home. You are a cleaner. You are, as long as you are a woman, you bring something special to life. So do not let anybody put you down because you don't have what some people in society think is what it takes to be an accomplished girl or woman. No. There's something within you. Every woman has it. I'm not talking about men now. It's not my place. It's not. I'm speaking to women. Every one of us has it in us. So we just need to open ourselves to all the grace around us, and we will be able to fulfill. And in any capacity, any activity that we do. I hope that makes sense to somebody.
Amazing. It makes a lot of sense to me, and I know that to a lot of our viewers, this makes a whole lot of sense and is empowering. Any woman hearing these words should be empowered to know that they are already enough. They've been blessed with a lot by our Creator, and that name woman is an honorable name. We need to struggle for any other thing. So actually take our place as woman. Thanks a lot. And I must thank you on behalf of our viewers for taking the time to come in today into the program and answer this question so fully, holistically, without a rush. Honestly, we've been so blessed because each of the questions you answered are full of nuggets that we can explore for a long time to come. And since we've done this way, we will come back to you. We'll request other interviews, whether you are in Alabama or in the US, anywhere in the US. We'll track you down and interview you, or whether you are in Nigeria, anywhere you are in the world. Once we get to know where you are, we'll seek audience with you. I want to thank you again and wish you very well. I wish you success in all your endeavors. And there are many books coming from you to the world. You have a lot to say. And especially to women, also to say today now, shows me that if you actually make another publication to focus on womanhood, it would be a step in the right direction. I'm only saying this. You know. And viewers, thanks for watching this. See you next one. And as always, I wish you joy. I wish you peace. I wish you well. Bless you.
Thank you for having me.